I've got a new tune for you. It's called Waynesboro, and we're in open G tuning, gDGBD. And this tune has some Irish heritage. I believe this is a tune that is essentially two pieces of a three-part Irish tune called Over the Moor to Maggie. And there are many old-time tunes that we play that are directly descended of Irish and Scottish fiddle tunes. And sometimes they're changed around. Perhaps they're originally a jig and now they're in 4/4 or a reel, or maybe they were played with a few parts and now they just have two parts. It's really the folk process at work. And I love this melody, and it's a pretty common jam tune, and it has a couple of new things for us. We've got an A minor chord in it, and we'll get to that when we cross that bridge. I'll play it nice and slowly and then break it down piece by piece, A part and B part, and play it a couple times through at the end so that you can join in. Here is Waynesboro. There it is, Waynesboro. Let's learn the tune piece by piece, starting with the A part. Here's the A part of Waynesboro broken down piece by piece. We've got a couple of hammer-ons to start. On your 4th string, open to 2, and then open to 2 on your 3rd string. Now it's nice when you're doing consecutive left-hand techniques like this to maintain the movement in your right hand. So even though you could sit here with your right hand and go, leaving your right hand close to the strings, I frequently see players keep their hands close when you still want to maintain that hammer motion. So make sure that when you're doing these two hammer-ons, it'll keep your groove steady, or you'll have a better driving sound. So, and then we just play our 2nd string open, and then our 1st string open. So we've got, and then a pull off, 2 to open on the 1st string, using my index finger here, and then up to that 5th fret with my pinky. So, and then back to that pull off, and then down to our 2nd string open. So that 2nd measure, again, let's put those two together. Here we go. Again, let's loop it a couple times. One more. Now we're going to go into an A minor chord. So it's kind of like a C chord, except instead of playing these 3 fingers, we're going to shift our ring finger over to that 3rd string, 2nd fret, and then our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. So those two are down there on those low 2 strings, 2nd fret, and then our index finger goes on that 1st fret of the 2nd string, and then our pinky on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. So all 4 fingers are being used here. 2nd fret, 2nd fret, index, 1st fret, and then pinky on that 2nd fret of the 1st string. Now, there are a couple ways to play the A minor chord. You can do it with 4 fingers, or you can play it just as the top 3 strings. So middle on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, index on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, and ring finger on the 2nd fret 1st string. That one's probably a bit easier, but you aren't able to play that open 4th string. That note doesn't really fit in the A minor chord, so I actually prefer to play it as a 4-note chord. That has a really nice kind of warmer tone, as opposed to pretty similar, but in any case, either one of those will work. I'm going to go with the 4-note A minor chord. It just has a warmer tone. So that's where we are in the third measure of this tune. So we play one bum diddy on that third string. And then we're going to use our ring finger on that second fret, third string, and then down to that second fret, fourth string. So bum diddy of A minor, pull off, and then fourth string, second fret. So let's play that a couple times on a loop. Here we go. 3, 4. Okay, then we have our index finger is going to go to that second fret of the third string, because I find that my index finger is a little bit more reliable as a pull-off note, considering where we have to go coming up here with a hammer on. So for efficiency's sake, let's use our index. You'll see how this fits together. Pull off, and then a hammer on 2 to 4 on that third string. So pull off, hammer on, pull off again, and then second fret, fourth string. A lot of melody notes here. Doing great. Okay, so let's put those two measures together. We've got the A minor, again, and then it goes back to the very beginning. So those next couple measures are the same as the first two in the A part. Here's the ending of the A part. It goes like this. It's a lot of second fret on that third string. So we're going to do a just regular old second fret strike, third string, and then a hammer on. So, and then we're going to do drop them. 2 to 3, open. And then a pull off, 2 to open on the third string. And of course you can pause this, rewind, check all of these little phrases. There's a lot of little tiny details. So, and then a pull off. I love this little rhythm here. It's a pull off, 2 to open on that fourth string. Get a nice pop, clear sound with that pull off. You want that pull off to have a nice bite to it. So don't just kind of lift your finger off, but really grab that note so it gets that full sound. And then we do drop thumb, 3 to 4. Also making sure that you get a really full tone on that drop thumb. So, and then a bum diddy on your third. So let's just get that last measure a couple times. Try and loop it with me here. Ready, go. So if we go back a measure, it's let's try it together. One more. Cool. That's a lot. Let's try and play through this whole A part nice and slow. Here it goes. 3, 4. A minor. Very good. Before we go to the B part, I just want to say one quick word about fingering with your left hand. depending on the melody and where we are in the tune, I use a variety of fingers for that second fret. Sometimes I'll use my middle finger, sometimes I'll use my index, sometimes I'll use my ring, and it all depends on what the notes are prior and after. So in the beginning of the tune, when we're just playing a lot of open strings, I try to just stick to my middle finger. That's kind of the most reliable for the second fret. But, you know, when we're doing that pull-off and we're going up to that fifth fret, it's nice to think about your second fret with your index finger there, so you don't have to reach as far. And then when you go into that A minor chord, your ring finger's already on that second fret, so you might as well stick with it. All of these relate to efficiency and where you are in the context of the tune at the time. So there aren't really set rules that you need to use one finger on the second fret. Really just depends on how comfortable it is for you. So again, there aren't any firm rules about what fingers to use. Try to experiment with different fingering and see if that helps your efficiency, so that when you play it up to speed, you aren't fumbling over your left hand fingers. Just keep that in mind as you're working through this. Here's the B part of Waynesboro, and I'll play it nice and slow, and then we'll break it down piece by piece. Here goes. Okay, we're going up the neck a little bit. We're going to slide from 7 to 9 on the first string using our ring finger. And then I just hit the first string, kind of like a ditty, but without strumming all 4 strings. I'll just strum the first string. So I'll go, and then I'll go down to that 7th fret, also with my ring finger. So sliding up with the ring, 7th fret, and then we're going to do a little mini bar here, where my index finger goes across the first and second strings. So the reason why we're doing this is so that we can get this drop thumb with these 2 strings down. So we've got hammer on 5 to 7 with our ring, and then drop thumb 1, 2. So, and then open first string, open second string. Hammer on, drop thumb 1, 2. Again, hammer on, drop thumb, first, second. So that first section. Nice. And now we have a 3-finger bar chord. This is turning into our A minor chord, another way of playing the A minor chord up the neck. Before we played it down here, the melody is calling for these notes to be a little higher. So we're doing this version of the A minor chord, which is a bar across these 3 strings at the 5th fret, and then our pinky on the 7th fret of the first string. So we're going to do a hammer on here. I really like that sound. It's a strum followed by a hammer on. So practice just getting that sound, and the pinky's a tough one to get on that hammer on. So make sure you're really pressing down hard with this finger here, pinching with your thumb behind the neck to get a nice even tone, and then really throwing that pinky finger down right behind that 7th fret to get a nice clear tone. Of course, having slightly lower action on your instrument helps as you start to venture up the neck, something to keep in mind. If you're tinkering with your banjo a lot, having a slightly lower bridge or lower action, which is the space between the strings and the fingerboard, when that's a little lower, you can get a cleaner hammer on, and it's just easier to play up the neck. You don't have to press down as far. So we've got followed by a strum. So hammer on, strum, and then we do a pull off with that pinky, 7 to 5, and then our second string. So again, one more. So we've got up to this point. Here's that last measure. Pinky on the 7th fret, pinky on the 9th fret, and then we're doing a triplet pull-off. There's a lesson in the channel about triplet pull-offs in the Up the Neck workshop, but I'll also break it down here nice and quickly for you. So we've got a triplet pull-off. So normally we just go like 9 to 7 a pull-off with our pinky, and then to our index on the 7th fret. But instead of just doing that pull-off, we're also playing our 5th string as one motion. So it's not like we're going pull off and then playing the 5th string, but rather pull off, thumbs on that 5th string, and then it comes up for the triplet pull off. We call it a triplet because there are 3 notes in the space of where 2 usually go. So that phrase sounds like this. So we went 7, 9, triplet, and then 5th fret. One more. And if you can't get that triplet pull off, it's not essential. It's a nice little variation. You could just go and just do a normal pull off and then to the 5th fret. The triplet pull off, though, is a really nice texture. So we've got again. Okay, up to this point in the B part, let's play it together. 3, 4. Again. And then it goes on. Same ending from the A part. That makes it nice and simple. So we've got the whole B part now, nice and slow. Here it is. Try to play along. 3, 4. Great. Now let's play the whole tune all together. Here's Waynesboro played nice and slowly so you can play along. Here it goes. 1, 2, ready, here we go. Lovely playing there. That's Waynesboro. Hey there, Brad Kolodner here, welcoming you into Clawhammer Corner, your one-stop shop for all things Clawhammer Banjo, as I take you on a deep dive into my approach to this wonderful style of playing banjo. Whether you're a complete beginner picking up the instrument for the very first time, or you have years of playing under your belt looking for some inspiration and how to take your playing to the next level, well, Clawhammer Corner is for you. On the platform, you'll find a Clawhammer from Scratch 12-lesson series, dozens of tune tutorials across 6 different tunings in which I walk through each tune note by note, play along jam tracks with fiddle and guitar, my full tab library with hundreds of tabs, dozens of technique lessons, and a series of in-depth workshops covering how to jam, playing up the neck, learning by ear, plus exclusive performances just for subscribers, all for as little as $10 a month. There are different subscription tiers, including an option for one-on-one virtual lessons as well. Learn at your own pace, no commitment required, cancel anytime, and I offer a 7-day risk-free trial. Better yet, I'm always adding new content based on your feedback and requests. Join me over at Clawhammer Corner today.